If you could please give me your name and where you're from.
I'm Doug Burleson from Springfield, Missouri. Lifelong resident here and serve on the city council here in town. And just have married with 8 kids and work as a assistant manager at a print facility here in town.
I see. Yes, and you've just touched on the fact that you're on the city council, so you reach a little beyond just working a regular job then. You're involved in the city politics.
That's correct. Towards the end of my first term on city council, we'll be running for re-election here. And we hope to be successful with that and have another 4-year term with which to try to improve the legal status of all kinds of issues here in the city.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us to the next issue, and something that directly affects re-election, of course. You've decided to make a stand for medical cannabis. Why don't you talk to us a little about that?
Well, that's not really a recent decision. I'm a libertarian by nature, so especially with initial exposure to the party, way back in the day, that really kind of piqued my interest in not just medicinal cannabis, but the full spectrum of legalization as far as industrial and even recreational use. And that bothers some people, but the tremendous burden that's placed on our criminal system, the criminal justice system, the jails, if we don't do anything, we're going to have to be exploring, future taxes to build bigger facilities, to hold more people. I think we could go a different direction and alleviate some of the overcrowding problems just by simply not prosecuting something that doesn't hurt anybody. And then in fact, when you get on the medicinal side of it, when we're prosecuting something that actually helps people, well, a lot of words come to mind, but hypocritical tops the list. And I would love to be influential in steering this city government away from that travesty.
Well, tell me, how do you expect to make a difference from the city council here in Springfield?
Well, a couple of things that have already occurred in my short career on council is voting against things like asset forfeiture, accepting grants that are based on those funds, trying to introduce into our legislative priorities issues like allowing industrial hemp in the state, also allowing medicinal marijuana in the state. At one point in time, I was successful in getting the industrial hemp item on our legislative priorities, but this year neither one of them made that list, and there was a lot of myths, misunderstandings that were communicated at that meeting. So now we're really exploring more of an educational type of effort here to kind of just clear the air out of some of this Cheech and Chong perception that people have over this issue, when actually it's a life and death issue. And I get a little worked up when somebody trivializes it to where this is just a joke. Well, if you're dying, it's not a joke, and if you have cancer, it's not a joke. And these are the people that we're wanting to help. I mean, any of us, we could look at ourselves in the mirror and go, I could be in that position one of these days myself. Now, I don't really have any personal experience health issue wise that has brought me into this issue. It's been more from a philosophical angle, but when we're ruining people's lives because of a false concept, I've got problems with that. And that really is what kind of led me into politics to begin with.
That's a good point. It is. It's really all about education, isn't it?
Well, it seems to be at this point. You go through life and you assume that people know the things you do and all that. And, you know, I don't consider myself a genius by any means, but there is, I hate to use the word ignorance, but there is a lot of ignorance about this plant out there, and the cultural angst that I see against this issue. You know, it's disturbing, and that is what requires the further education. I mean, a lot of people are under the impression that cannabis, you know, it's evil by nature, and there can be nothing productive come of it. Well, and I would argue just the opposite. I don't know that there's really much counterproductive impact that it would have on a human by consuming it.
Where do you see the state of Missouri in regard to this issue?
Well, really I can just more speak for the southwest corner of the state.
Yes.
And this is a challenging part of the state for this particular issue. But the story doesn't end there. We have been making some inroads. I have seen a lot more people be open-minded about this issue locally. Recently, our newspaper conducted an informal, non-scientific poll, and the respondents, the question was basically, should Springfield consider allowing medicinal marijuana for patients and doctors to prescribe? 45% of the respondents were supportive, 55% were not. But that's without any real educational effort. And since that has begun, we've already seen some back and forth in the media just as a result of a recent meeting, and the education is just going to continue to go up from there.
Tell us about last night.
Well, last night we had a film and forum on medicinal marijuana in Springfield, Missouri. I was a little nervous coming up close to start time, even because the room hadn't filled yet. But by the end of the night, it was standing room only. I mean, folks were standing around on the back wall, the side walls. We did not have enough seats for everybody that wanted to come and participate, which was just a tremendous indicator to me of the interest that's in the area over this particular issue. It was very encouraging for me as a politician, and generally you're in the forefront and you're taking the heat for a lot of the debate and things, and it was just good to see that level of backup kind of gel and come into play there. A lot of people had a lot of serious questions. There was a lot of serious, good information put out, and I saw a lot of excitement about the road ahead as far as where we can take this issue and hopefully accomplish something that allows patients in Springfield to better medicate themselves.
Sounds terrific. Well, this is just the first of a number of meetings.
That's correct. I mean, we don't have anything set in stone yet, but some momentum has started. And to turn our back on that, it would be a disservice to the community. We've got to, take advantage of this moment in time, basically, and do what we can to come together as a movement and see what we can get done in Springfield. I believe at that point in time, once the issue's been debated, some facts come out, people get more information on it, I can't see why we would not have a successful vote here in Springfield. So that's the hope, and that's what we're working towards.
That sounds terrific. Well, I just want you to know that Sensible Missouri and the cannabis patients of Missouri are behind you all 100%. And we will be here with you as you all stand up for this issue.
Well, as you demonstrated last night, very impressed by the level of information, the professionalism, the patients that were brought to the meeting, that were able to speak on their firsthand experiences, and it was just an amazing meeting. It was very informative and in a way where I think people were very open to it. So I definitely look forward to bugging y'all again and seeing if I can talk you into coming down here and do some more of these.
Sounds like a winning plan to me. Thank you very much, Doug.
Mark,
So much.
thank you.
That's it.
All right.
That's another
Wow, that
segment.
didn't hurt at all.
Yeah, is that great?